We have a variety of NHL news to discuss today, including some trade rumors around the Chicago Blackhawks. We also have an update on the Kirill Kaprizov situation in Minnesota, a rumor regarding Brady Tkachuk's potential contract with the Ottawa Senators, and the hockey world continues to mourn. We have some more tragic news around the NHL. We'll discuss all that coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have a variety of things to talk about here today. Before we jump into seemingly more news and rumors that are a little bit more positive here, I do want to talk first about some of the more tragic news we've seen around the NHL. Now, of course, last night I saw word that Rangers legend Gilbert had passed away. Of course, he was 80 years old, still appeared to be doing relatively well as of late. So even though he was 80 years old, doesn't really make it any easier for many of his family and friends. Obviously, like I said, a Rangers legend, had a terrific, real solid NHL career, was one of the top players of his era, and he's certainly going to be greatly missed. So I certainly want to acknowledge his passing. But then early today, we've got the more surprising news that former NHL player Jimmy Hayes has passed away at the young age of 31. Now, as I record this video, we don't have a cause of death, so I don't know exactly what's transpired. All we know is that the reports indicated that he was found at his home. It looks as though paramedics or a response team was sent there, and then he was later pronounced dead. We don't really know the full circumstances around it. The local police authorities have indicated that nothing appears to be suspicious, so there's no crimes committed in any way, but that doesn't really give a clear answer. It still could be a variety of things. It could be, medically related or whatnot, and we don't really know. And of course, in due time, I'm sure that information will be made public. But obviously, in case you're not aware, Jimmy Hayes was born and raised in Boston in the Dorchester area. Got to live the hockey dream that a lot of kids grew up in that area, wanting to do. He played for Boston College, had a lot of success there, had an opportunity to play 7 years in the NHL, including a few with the Boston Bruins. He was a real big guy, 6'5", but certainly seemed like a bit of a gentle giant. Was a really extremely well-liked guy in the local community, within the hockey community, every team he's played on, teammates. Like, he's just one of those guys that always seemed to have a big smile on his face, seemed to be a funny kind of character around the room, keep things light, and also seemed to just be extremely well liked by everybody that knew him and played with him, and etc. I want to offer my condolences to his wife Kristen and his two young boys, Mac and Bo. His boys are only 2 years old and 3 months. He and his wife had just had their second child just 3 months ago. Post-hockey career, Jimmy ended up creating a very successful podcast with a couple of his good buddies and former NHL players in their own right, Shane O'Brien and Scotty Upshall, called Missin' Curfew. I know it was fun to listen to at times. I know Jimmy was the kind of guy that he loved trying to break trades and rumors and that kind of stuff. Often referred to himself as Jimmy Scoops. Nickname was Broadway as well. I don't know what to say. When I saw that news earlier today, I was just completely dumbfounded. Didn't see that coming. He's such a young man with such a bright future and a whole other aspect of family life and media. I don't know what more to say on it except that it's extremely shocking and saddening, and I just want to offer my condolences to everybody affected by the tragedy. Of course, his brother Kevin still plays in the NHL for the Philadelphia Flyers, and so they've got tons of connections throughout the NHL and around the entire community. Like, the whole Hayes family is very well known and extremely popular and well liked and big within the hockey community in the Boston area. So again, my heartfelt condolences. Shocking, tragic news. Way too young. Rest in peace, Jimmy Hayes. Now, as I mentioned, we also have some other news to talk about here today, including RFA contracts, some trade rumors, etc. So let's get into that stuff now. Brady Tkachuk, apparently there's a rumor around him with the Ottawa Senators that in the last couple of days here over the course of this past weekend, that Brady Tkachuk was given an offer by the Ottawa Senators to sign a 6-year deal valued at $42 million for an average annual value of $7 million. Now, of course, that is a rumor at this point. We cannot confirm that to be the case. But if that is indeed something that was offered, I would think that would be similar to what he would want, but I think I won't be shocked if he wants a shorter term. It might be only go 3 years. Obviously, 4 years walks him right to free agency. The Senators are not going to want to do that. They would probably prefer to buy up a couple of those UFA years, but an AAV of $7 million for Brady is just fine in my book. I think that would be pretty pretty fair overall for what he brings to the table. He's only going to continue to get better. He's the heart and soul of that team, likely going to be given a C after he signs, and could be a huge part of that. And of course, they still have to sign Drake Batherson and Philip Gustafson as well. So the Sens still have some important work to be done. We still have a fair bit of time before training camp, and I guess we'll likely find out more information here in the coming days to see if this Brady Tkachuk contract offer is legit or not, based on the source that it's coming from. It's through Hockey Buzz, so they're not always as accurate as many other sources. So I do tend to take their information with a grain of salt, but we'll see what transpires here in the coming days. But that would be a pretty fair contract. We also seen that Bruce Garriock, who covers the Senators closely for the combination of the local newspaper and TSN, who had gotten off of Twitter completely because I think he was kind of having a frustrating time with a lot of local fans and just the interactions. I'm not sure exactly what all went down, but I just know his account up and disappeared, and he just reappeared on Twitter today as well, which kind of gave me the feeling that maybe there's some news coming soon that he's going to want to report on, and that's why he reactivated his account. So that, along with the other Tkachuk rumor, just kind of made me think maybe there is something to it. But like I said, only time will tell. Now let's pause for a moment and acknowledge our channel sponsor, Manscaped. Top Shelf Hockey is proud to be sponsored by Manscaped. Of course, with Manscaped, we have a special offer here for all Top Shelf Hockey viewers where you can get 20% off and free shipping on all orders at manscaped.com. Now, of course, Manscaped just launched a brand new Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, which is a fantastic product. They've taken the level up here, even again with the skin-safe replaceable blades. It's waterproof, it's wireless charging, has a travel lock on it, as well as a nice light so you don't miss what you're doing. So certainly a terrific product. Now, many people associate Manscaped with their trimmers, which is certainly kind of their top product, but they do have a lot of other great options as well, including what they call the Weed Whacker, which is another trimmer for your ears and nose. And they have a variety of deodorants and sprays as well, which also keep you fresh and are terrific as well. So certainly Manscaped has a lot to offer, and we certainly highly recommend all of their products. So check out manscaped.com and use promo code TSH for 20% off and free shipping. So thanks very much for watching the promotional content from Manscaped. I greatly appreciate it. Again, I just want to take a moment and thank you again for all your recent support. We've had a lot of growth over the past couple of months between some new subscribers. The views have been phenomenal. Obviously, merchandise sales have picked up, which has been great. Lots of people doing the super thanks, which you can do down on the bottom of the video beside the like and dislike buttons. There's a super thanks option. Basically, a way to give a tip and say thanks for the video. That's been going well. So I just want to thank you for all the overwhelming support. Greatly appreciate it. And I do want to also announce here as well that I am launching some new t-shirt designs. Now, of course, they're not all completely going to be shown in the merch store that you can see below the video here on YouTube just yet. Likely will take another couple of days before you see all that popping up. There might be some there now, but I am going to show you a couple of the designs. Now, this actually was kind of, you could say, viewer inspired. Now, these are some ideas that I had personally thought of before and actually had really seriously thought about. I just never really put the effort into creating the design until it was brought up in the comment section by a viewer. And it's like, you know what? I've been thinking about that. I should do it. So here we go. So I'm going to show you a couple designs that are good. They're live now. They're available for purchase. And the sale that's going on right now that I will show you here as well that I've been running on. I've been mainly using the hoodie as the graphic piece for the promotional content. But as you can see, there's a free shipping offer for U.S. residents and 10% off for Canadian residents. So I'll show you that quickly here. That's been going on. Mostly been hoodies that have been selling so far, a few t-shirts, but the hoodie's been the most popular so far, like the one I have on. And then, of course, the new t-shirts are coming here. So obviously, as you guys know, if you've been watching this channel, following for a while, I usually sign off every video with a "I'll catch you next time" as my catchphrase, my slogan. So we've created a t-shirt with that. There's two different versions here. One that actually shows my beautiful face on the t-shirt, as you can see. Says "I'll catch you next time. So if you like that type of thing, that's the one that was kind of viewer inspired. There you go. That's the new Top Shelf Hockey t-shirt available for sale as of today, effective immediately. And then the other concept that we're going with here as well is basically on the front. So instead of having my picture on the t-shirt, we're going with "I'll catch you" on the front. And then on the back, you get the channel logo next time. So it's a kind of a front and back design, just a little bit different as well, depending on what you prefer. I don't really know what everybody will think, but there's a couple more designs to kind of shake up the merchandise store and add something different in there. I've been wanting to do it for a while, so of course I always love lots of feedback on that stuff. I only want to design and create things that you guys would be interested in purchasing. So certainly leave some comments down below. If you've made a purchase or you're going to make a purchase, leave a comment as well. I want to know these things because there's no point in putting the effort in if the viewers, yourselves, are not interested or you're not feeling it or not into it or whatever that case is. So let me know down below. Now, moving on to the couple other topics we want to cover in the hockey news world here today. We do have an update from Michael Russo in The Athletic regarding the Kirill Kaprizov situation. He's reporting, and I haven't confirmed this directly through the team or any of their social media outlets, but I trust Michael Russo, so I don't really feel the need to have to verify his work. He's a terrifically, real solid reporter who's got a good reputation. Russo's reporting that CSKA and the KHL is reporting that Kaprizov will not, I repeat, will not be playing for them this coming season because their regular season is not far away from getting underway, and we've seen reports that he was rumored to be signing over there, that he had an offer on a table for as much as like $10 million, and maybe even Frank Saravalli thought that maybe he could sign with them, but put an out clause that he can go back to the NHL as soon as he's got his contract in place with Minnesota, and maybe he could play in both leagues, and that does make sense, and I could see that could have possibly been a scenario to unfold, but I know most of you are not going to be surprised at all this news. I am not surprised at all as well. We know that the whole going back to Russia thing is, generally speaking, a pretty big negotiating tactic and not something that you're really going to see followed up on very much. I mean, we've even seen other Russian hockey players this offseason kind of, play that down and say, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. He's not going to make that kind of money, and it's just, it's just a ploy, and that's what it is. So we'll see now. It doesn't mean that there's any real progress made on a wild Kaprizov contract. Russo also reports here that he does not get the impression that a contract with the Wild is imminent, and that we're going to get an announcement here soon. Doesn't mean we won't. It's just based on his intel. It doesn't sound like we're just not quite there yet. So, like I said before, the Wild wanted a long-term deal. He wanted a short-term deal. He wants big money. I think he wants to get to free agency as quick as possible. Seems like his motivation. At least that's what it appears based on what we've seen and heard through reports. And they're going to have to probably meet somewhere in the middle to get a deal done. So I would probably suspect, ideally, if Minnesota can get what they are or close to what they want, it's going to be a 4 to 5 year contract. But will he, insist on shorter? And could this stalemate carry over into camp or beyond? Only time will tell. But I'm sure Bill Guerin is working on this hard and trying to get something in place because he's an absolutely huge part of that team. Now, we also have reports as well from Ben Pope, who covers the Chicago Blackhawks, talking about Dylan Strome and his future with the club. And we kind of get a little bit more clarity, I guess, on when or how could we see a trade involving this player. There was a lot of chatter about his name in the rumor mill earlier in the offseason, but yet nothing's come to be. So what does the future hold for Strome? Is he going to stay in Chicago, or what is going to happen? And according to him, he's saying that the biggest factor here is the unknown availability of Captain Jonathan Toews. If Toews is able to play, they will very, very, very likely move Strome. I think they have had some discussions with other teams. They know who's interested. I don't think getting a deal done would take very long. So if Toews is able to go and he's going to be available to them, a trade will happen. If he's not and he ends up on LTIR again, then Strome will be their fallback plan to keep the center position intact in their club. So it's just quite that simple. Now, to me, I don't quite understand how they could not really know that yet. Jonathan Toews has been out a long time. We saw a report with interview with him earlier this offseason where he said he was feeling good again. He intended to play this year. He was training again. So, it's kind of surprising, to be completely honest, that they don't know the answer to that. I know at one point the Senators were a team heavily linked to Strome. I'm not sure if there's going to be others, but it's just that simple. If Toews plays, he goes. If not, he stays. So we'll see what happens. But I would suspect that we'll know the answer to that sooner than later. So let me know your thoughts and everything down below in the comment section. As always, I want to know your thoughts on everything discussed here today. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest news, rumors, and analysis on all 32 NHL teams. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.